I will suggest we give it a few minutes for others to join, and then we can kick off. Thanks.
Hi everyone on YouTube. Please thumbs up if you can hear me. We're just still.
Hello, James.
Minutes.
Hello, everybody.
Good. How are you?
Back from your holiday?
Yes, back from my holiday. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So let's give it a few minutes for others to join. I'll say a couple more minutes, and then we can kick off. I think with what's happening in the wider crypto market, I think we have. It's actually self-evident. It's not just my thoughts. I think the general sentiment in the market is definitely not as strong as it was a couple months ago. I think the advantage for us to keep these calls going is that we're able to keep on top of our TitanX, the TitanX ecosystem, and important updates. And so I think let's continue to hold these town halls, to borrow the term from Mo. Let's continue to hold these town halls, and this is second quarter. I think third quarter or mid-third quarter, we're expecting that big release of TitanX tokens. And after that, we will then have, beginning of fourth quarter, we'll have the October, that will be 1 year anniversary of TitanX, end of October. That will also coincide with let me check and see how much it is exactly, how much it is that's due in the payout on day 369. So that's at the current ETH value, the total payout for day 369 would be about 7.6 million USD worth of ETH. So they are milestones for us to look forward to, and of course with the projects that are being built. I think in my absence, I've been trying to. Well, I've tried to catch up on a bit of all that, what's happened in my absence, and I think Blaze, as we all know, is now it was TitanX Blaze. Now it's Blaze. So there are things happening. There are developments, and I think hopefully we can get to talk about as well. But there are milestones, is long and short of it. Important milestones. We know the narrative of TitanX, and as long as that narrative ties in with reality and the fundamentals are there, I think we will continue to keep an eye on this. I'm saying that there's not financial advice. Thanks. And we all need to take an independent view of this, in as much as we do share our views.
Everyone on YouTube,
Okay, I think
please
we pretty
thumbs
much
up if you can
kickstarted
hear me.
the discussion. Hello, James. I'll say so. Let me go through the stats, but before I kick off, let me say a big thank you to Mike and all participants from the last 2 sessions. That's over a span of, about, shall I say, over 10 days, because I've been away for that long. So in effect, 2 Sundays, and those were really good sessions. I've managed to get, catch up with them as well. So must say again, thank you, Mike, and thanks to everyone who participated. Okay, so I've got the stats page open, and I would like to go through these stats. I will be going through the last stats that Mike went through about 7 days ago. That would be last Sunday. But just in terms of comparison, just in passing and in a general sense. So just quickly, TitanX distribution. We've got liquid. Liquid is 27.7%. So the circulating supply currently of TitanX is 27.7% of the total supply. As in the total supply that's been released so far. I think last week it was about 26.1%. So we definitely, there is an increase, but it's not significant. In terms of, and I'll go to the big ticket issue, ones here. I would say staked, we've got 14%, 14.61%. We've got buy and burn is 36.27%. We've got build on TitanX protocols is 12.12%. And hyper is 8.81%. There haven't been any real significant changes, long and short of it, comparatively speaking, between starts of last week and this week. And even the week before, I think the build on TitanX protocols was about 11%. So we have 12.12%. Nothing major there. So sort of long and short of it, I think we pretty much have the current amount in sort of in the circulating supply section of the pie is more or less static. I think you could read that any way. I think in terms of the buy and burn with the build on TitanX protocols, we could probably ask the right questions as to what's happening there, and that's what it sort of helps us drill down, and that's pretty much the way we could use these stats, drill down and see what's happening, and of course look to the future as to what's happening with the build on TitanX protocols to come, as in the new protocols to come. So anyway, let's look at the fixed, in terms of USD terms. Let's look at the fixed numbers or hard numbers, if you like. In terms of numbers, we've got about 24.2 trillion TitanX circulating, and we have in USD terms, that's 3.7, or say 3.8, just rounding it up slightly, million USD worth of TitanX. Staked is 13 trillion, 13.1 trillion. In terms of USD, that's about 2 million USD worth of TitanX staked. Build on TitanX protocols We got you can round it up to 10.9 trillion TitanX tokens, and all our, build on TitanX protocols combined. In USD terms, that's 1.7 million, rounding that up as well. Buy and burn, 32.6 trillion TitanX, again, rounding it up. And in USD terms, that's 5 million. I'm not going to going through, as you probably have realized, each single item because some of these are not significant. So penalties and liquidity, LP fees burn. I'm simply going to skip those. Now, hyper locked is 2.6 trillion TitanX. In terms of USD terms, it's 411,000 USD. And hyper buy and burn, it's 5.3 trillion. Again, rounding that up. TitanX in USD terms, it's 818,000 USD. Okay. Now, I think what this shows definitely. I think where we are, just looking back at the last 2-3 weeks, is that there isn't much movement in these figures. Now, if we put aside, of course, the fact that the market has really, the current market sentiment is not strong. But if you just look at, in terms of numbers, the TitanX, circulating, state, and so on. In terms of numbers, that hasn't changed that much. Going forward, I think we know exactly, we know what we're expecting. And when I say going forward, I'm looking at both the medium and long term. So let us keep an eye on that, and we probably will discuss that here. But before I round up and hand over to Mike to share his thoughts, let me just look and just quickly, bear with me, the buy and burn pools, as we normally do. So V2, we have just about 10.1 million USD worth of ETH. That's about 3,332,000. Again, this is not much different from last week. And our buy and burn V1 is 13.6 million. In terms of ETH, it's not that significantly different from last week either. So I think it's just stating the obvious that these pools are being conserved for a future date, or if you like, for use at a future date. I think we all know what the rationale is there, and hopefully, as we progress into the second quarter and the third quarter, as the inflation continues, and I'm going to say we put aside the emission that we're expecting in August, but after August, heading into the fourth quarter, I think we should definitely start to see a significant reduction in inflation. So we'll have the emission would have gone through our halving, that TitanX halving. The significant reduction in emission would have occurred. We'll be up to our, so it'll be our 1 year anniversary. We have this amount that's coming out that we talked about earlier, about just over 7 million at today's ETH price. I think fourth quarter, we should keep an eye on this, because I think, the various aspects of this protocol will start coming together, and the inflation that we've really suffered from, for want of a better word, and it was by design, of course, It was by design, by the way, but we know that the sentiment within the community is such that sometimes we lose sight of the fact that the protocol was designed to be hyperinflationary at the beginning and progressively become hyperdeflationary. But so let us just say that the hyperinflation that we're suffering from at this time would be a thing of the past by the fourth quarter of this year. And so by design, we should really be entering into a deflationary period that will take us into end of first quarter, beginning of first quarter next year. And who knows? I mean, you know, let's see what this protocol will do. I think Jake is building, in addition to, of course, we've got the hyper, but Shogun is in the works. Not much has been said about that, but I think we understand that there's ongoing work there. So I think I'll just encourage us as a community, and that's pretty much what we can do from a community perspective, is to keep an eye on this, hold the team or teams accountable by encouraging them and providing the support for the protocols and the teams that really mean business. Yeah. Okay. On that note, I think I'll pause and I'll hand over to Mike to share with us his thoughts, and then we can open up the floor. Over to you, Mike.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back, Plan A. It seems like you're gone for much longer, so I don't know what it is, but seems like you're gone for
Thanks, Mike.
for a very long time. But anyhow, welcome back. I'm glad you're back
Thank you.
because actually to get it all running and everything, it takes effort actually to make it all happen. So shout out to you. And yeah, so let me get started. I have created the blog post again. So the last 2 weeks, one thing which maybe you know, or if you listened in, then something has changed a little bit, like a little update. What I did was I have a blog section on TitanX.com. It's not yet on the main menu at the top, but at the bottom you can find the blog. And pretty much for every space we have on Sunday, I just make a blog post and I just update some few stuff there. And you can also catch the live stream as well on top as well. So anyhow, I think some of the updates you have already done regarding the TitanX stats, so I'm gonna skip that. And so one thing probably I would like to mention is regarding the omni-chain versus multi-chain. Jake had updated this week, sent out a tweet, and it was regarding the infrastructure. So for instance, one of the things he had said was regarding omni-chain and multi-chain. So omni-chain, he wrote, one source chain, one source of economic energy, but tradable on all major networks. And then you have the other one, which is the multi-chain, which is native launch on each chain. And this splits economic energy and community. Not a fan of it at all. It's wasteful energy everywhere instead of everything having one powerful source of united economic energy. So basically what he's trying to say is that he's taking TitanX on omni-chain and not multi-chain. And essentially what that means is that TitanX can only be created on Ethereum. And whichever TitanX, if let's say it gets transferred over to some other chain, like I don't know, whatever, BNB, Base, or whatever chain. I mean, as of lately, I mean, for a lot of projects, what they were doing mostly is using bridges. So there's a bit of issue with bridges per se. I mean, first of all, there is the security part of it. Because most bridges they still have admin keys. That's the unfortunate part of it, right? But there is another thing which came up, which is very popular now, which is like the layer 0. There's many infrastructure projects building on top of this, right? One is layer 0, but there's also other projects. For instance, Chainlink. Chainlink has this infrastructure which is called CCIP, and but essentially they are trying to tackle the same problem. And what is the problem? So let me try to explain a little bit. So if you want to transfer, let's say, one token which lives on Ethereum over to, let's say, BNB, right? You'd have to, let's say, there's different ways you can do about it, but what bridges do is a thing which is called lock and mint, right? But they mint you something which represents the original part, but the original is still locked in the bridge, right? So there's a lot of risk with that. That is, what if the bridge gets hacked, and then, well, obviously the money is gone. So obviously there's a lot of issues with bridges per se. But with layer 0, it is a bit better per se, because what you can do is you can do something which is like burn and mint. So essentially, let's say the supply, it still remains the same token, right? But you can transfer it over to another chain, but it will be burned on the source chain and gets minted on the destination chain, right? So it actually doesn't exist on the source chain anymore, essentially, right? And so, I mean, that's why you can transfer. You can do this kind of transfers. It gets a bit on the technical side of things. Maybe like, I don't want to go too deep on that, but that's something which is definitely very interested in. But yeah, so this is something definitely is going to be great. We have the omni chain, so TitanX will be going omni chain per se. I mean, most people know the term multi chain, but anyway, it's essentially, yeah. I mean. And the beauty of it as well is that if you, let's say, because there's this, I mean, he's been tweeting out about X28. So maybe that's another token. I'm not so sure, but I'll have to read in some of this stuff. But probably the X28 is more like an infrastructure, so that you can actually transfer, for instance, TitanX over to another chain. And then there's other parts of it, which is, for instance, any token now, if you use that new standard, you can transfer it over to other chains easier. So anyway, there's a lot of things going on, but this is more like infrastructure stuff, so maybe it's not as interesting per se. But I do believe that when these things come out, it will just make a little bit, it will make more sense. So yeah, so that's part of it. Another thing probably for this week, what happened is the DragonX mint ended on the 10th of April, so a few days ago. And the net supply is at right now at 5.53 trillion. So that will not change anymore. That is, well, it can only go lower because it can get burned. Up to now, 17.49% of the supply has been burned. And yeah, and then we have 9.38 trillion has been locked on the TitanX, on the DragonX smart contract, and they were 3,610 DragonX mint so far. I mean, not so far. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's the end of it. So the only supply which has been created can only now be bought through the Uniswap V3 LP. So I think that's that on DragonX. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know exactly what the price is currently, but I can check on TitanX.com. So the price, it's a bit slightly higher than TitanX. Well, and we're hoping that's going to be way more higher than that, but we shall see. There is definitely, how much money is it there to burn DragonX? So let me just go and visit DragonX.win now. So the buy and burn, so there's around $200,000 now in the buy and burn of DragonX. Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the DragonX updates so far. Yeah, we can probably the other thing which I had was more on the some updates on the projects which are launching. TitanX. Well, I think now it's just called Blaze, not Titan Blaze anymore. So that's one thing. The other thing is like which I read on the yeah, because they also have a new or they changed the name, right? Blaze, and now it's a Blaze 3 Win, their Twitter as well. So I might change that on titanxsub.com, by the way, because I think I still have the old Twitter there, and that account does not exist anymore. All right, so I'll have to definitely change that. I just realized that. Yeah, so it seems from what I read is the 11 million capped supply. There is 100% decentralized buy and burn, and it's going to be a fair launch, and it's going to launch in May 2024. So yeah, looking forward to Blaze, no Titan Blaze, and let's see what's going to happen now. All right, I'll give it over to the next person.
Great. Thanks, Mike. I think just to add to the Blaze summary that you provided, I think Mo provided a good summary as well on his YouTube channel. So I think if anybody wants to get a more detailed summary, I think you could please visit Mo's YouTube channel, and I think you do have you would have a good understanding of where things are with Blaze, and of course, more importantly, is actually the fact that this is not a slight on TitanX, and shouldn't be taken as such. It shouldn't be taken as a negative. Teams do pivot, and the team, the Blaze team, see it as such. I think there would be a percentage of their buy and burn that's going to TitanX. I think, in effect, there's a percentage of TitanX tokens that will be burned. Even though they've pivoted, and so I would say they're still part of the TitanX community, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Mo, if you want to come up and say a word or two about Blaze, please feel free. In the absence of the team, but James. Crypto Kool-Aid and Helios. I think in that order we can go for the summary of your individual protocols. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Hey, great summary, Mike and Plan A. It's great to have you back. Mike and I were struggling with the audio a couple times. We had a couple laughs during that, so we are really glad you're back. You bring technical skill and good luck.
Oh wow, you overestimate me. The technical skills.
Let's see how it goes. So quick one on Baby DragonX. My updates have been a little bit light the past couple weeks because it's been kind of quiet. We're the little brother of DragonX, and DragonX has just finalized their minting, right? There's the 12 weeks. Seems like longer than 12 weeks, but we finally finished that thing off. Now we see what happens. So the buy and burn with Baby DragonX, we've kept that thing at 12 hours for quite a while, and there's been no burning for 14 days. Nobody has called it. I called it a couple times previously, but the community is really interested in getting more bang for our buck. So rather than just we have about $2,800 worth of DragonX, and the community is bullish. We've had very few sells, couple buys, not too much, but people are we're fairly bullish. The whole about DragonX increasing. Of course, we're paired solely with DragonX. So that's that one. Our current swap buy and burn is 500 million DragonX. So that's that one. We haven't had any DAO votes for a little while. I did a small giveaway. Just as Plan A was mentioning, that some founders are pivoting and never forgetting their roots in TitanX, where we learned things and started. So we did a giveaway. I have a project over on Base, and there was a giveaway for anyone who voted in the previous DAO on Baby DragonX. So I'm gonna leave it at there. It's very exciting to see Crypto Kool-Aid and Giftware. Can't imagine what this update's going to be. And I know that Helios got some good stuff too. So thanks everyone. Take care.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Is my audio coming across clear?
Yes, it is.
Right. Fantastic. Well, good to see everyone here. Just a quick update. Normally, Sunday is my sleeping day, and happened to be up all night, and I knew that this was going on, so I figured I'd stay up a couple extra hours. So from the Pulsar side and the Gifford Tech side, we have Gifford Tech as now live. So the Giffordware token, the PermaGIF ideals that we've been talking about with permeable tokenomics. One of the big idioms that we like to focus on is, again, simulation, not speculation. Nodding the hat to Mike Dean, when you plot something and put it into space, you can't recall it. You have to actually look at your data points, look at your use case, and how everything's functioning in real time. And so from what we wanted to do with the entire Pulsar pathway, how we're implementing creation, not inflation, and all these mechanics that we're building, we wanted to actually show it before we implemented the more complex things like bridging assets, burning on one side, having affect different liquidity pools on another. So we launched Gifford Tech. And that inherently of itself is one major use case for us to prove not only what we're doing, but show people the importance of thinking another way to do other things. Everyone is talking about pivoting, and everyone should understand why pivoting is important and to happen in real time to manage speculation of market conditions by simulation of understanding what you're pivoting from and to. And so if you look at Gift Tech in Pulse terms, so flip your deck screener, you can see that we're already doing our second all-time high almost right now. And it really is an interesting paradigm. Again, thanks to Mo for his video on how to actually interact with the smart contracts before we had the UI up. We launched the UI on Friday, and now we're just taking a little bit of a cool down time as a team to then start the next implementations on the Pulsar pathway. So that's kind of where we're sitting. I can go in depth onto other things, but that's where we are. If anyone has any questions.
Thanks, Crypto Kool-Aid. I think, that's a good summary. I think we may very well come back to you, after the updates, as in when the floor is open.
100, my friend.
Yeah, great. Dude, over to you.
Hey, can everybody hear me okay?
Sounds great.
Great.
Awesome. I just want to say welcome back, Plan A, and nice to see you again, Mike Dean and James, Crypto Kool-Aid. I like to see all the familiar faces here. Congrats to DragonX to completing their minting phase. I think that's what everyone's been waiting on is that, and now we can actually see what DragonX does. So that'll be interesting, and also how that affects Baby DragonX as they're pegged to DragonX's market pair. So more fun stuff. As far as Helios goes, we had our first town hall meeting in Telegram a couple of days ago. And I would say it was a hit. It was great. It was recorded. If anybody is interested in going back and checking that out, just join our Telegram. Lots of good alpha shared in the chat. I just wanted to go over a couple of quick stats on Helios. And I'm on Mike Dean's Dune Analytics Dashboard. Thank you. Shout out to Mike Dean for putting all this together. We are on day 47, and chugging right along, loving it. We are at 3.2 trillion TitanX that has been brought in from the community. Big heart to everybody that's brought their TitanX to the Helios ecosystem. We're just getting started. And the supply and from the future supply, it's very interesting. Going through, looking at it, I get it's possible because of the high gas fees that a lot of day one miners did not get started as planned. And I'd like to note that the gas prices, let me refresh, is at 15 Gwei right now. So if you're interested in making some moves in the TitanX ecosystem, now might be the time. But I wanted to point out mostly what I'm seeing is looking at the future supply today on day 47, there is 0 HLX coming into existence. That's beautiful. On day 55, 0 HLX. Day 58, 10 million, basically none. My point being, there's lots and lots of days that come in the future that are not going to increase the supply. And that ties me back to our buy and burn, which is just super healthy right now. That was one of the first discussions we had in our Helios town hall meeting. And, we discussed the buy and burn and what, do we want to increase it, decrease it? How do we feel about that? And the community agreed that where it's at is we're happy. Nobody wants to say we need more. It's actually doing what it's intended as it is, which is super exciting. It's got 750 billion TitanX in it. So still lots and lots to burn. And if you look at our chart, since we've increased the buy and burn, that was about 3 weeks ago, we were sitting around 2 TitanX for 1 HLX. And since then, we are now at 5.7. So in 3 weeks, we are almost 3x'd our value in TitanX. So 1 HLX will get you 5.7, which I think is amazing. And looking at some of the stats here, with no additional supply or very little supply coming in over the coming days, the buy and burn is not going to stop. And it's exciting to see where this goes in the near future. Let's see, and then mining. Our mining is very healthy as well. Let me see. I can get you the real time stat. A max miner currently is at 778% ROI. Now, obviously, that changes every day. But current numbers, that's a very healthy number. I'm super happy to see that 47 days in, that there's still lots to be had on the Helios mining on that aspect. And then, also know that there's very little supply coming in. So I don't see these numbers changing too drastically in the near future. Let's see, in our roadmap, we are still in development of our next premier project. I don't really want to go too much into it. If you want some more info, you can go into our Telegram, and we talked about it some there. But it's in development, and it's definitely quite a few weeks away. But we are slowly getting more and more excited as the days pass, as we get closer and closer to that. And multi-chain, or omni-chain, I guess, as we put it, the layer 0. We're definitely following in TitanX's footsteps with that. We think that's a great benefit to the ecosystem. it broadens the reach, so it doesn't necessarily add a whole lot of extra use case as itself, but what it does bring is more adoption. And there's lots of people that don't play on the ETH chain because of, several factors. But bridging TitanX to, or maybe that's the wrong term I should be using layer 0, it's going to put it in a lot of new people's eyes. And I think that in itself is very bullish. And Helios is going to be right behind them. We are for sure looking at doing the same setup, and that will be coming in the near future as well. In the meantime, though, we have decided to go ahead and launch a new token on Pulse Chain. And this is we're taking a page out of Pulsar's book. We are going to do a proof of concept here. We are looking to get into the arbitrage game, and we are going to start that on the Pulse chain. The token that we are creating will only be mintable by burning HLX. So why are we starting there? Because Pulse chain, HLX is already on Pulse chain. Using the official Pulse chain bridge. We figured why not, lots of the ecosystem is headed that direction anyways. And, it's really the best way to give us a proof of concept. And what we're building on Pulse chain, showing that that's successful once we get our Omni chain setup going, and HLX spreads its wings and hits all of these other chains, we will be ready to join the arbitrage game in all of these chains. So that's super exciting, and that's coming up sooner than later for sure. Maybe just a few weeks, and that's really. That's what I'm most excited about is just something it's additional use case for Helios. And when you add additional use cases for Helios, that's more value for Helios. And in return, that's more value for TitanX as a whole. Because as we grow stronger, more and more people will come to us. And when they do, the only way to get your HLX is by bringing your TitanX. So bright future ahead. Absolutely. And as always, if you got any questions, I'm here to answer them. And please join our Telegram as we do more town hall meetings in the future. And this is absolutely a community-driven project with the DAO. And I can't say it enough. I'm super excited. Thanks for listening.
And I want to commend you for taking your time to do things correctly, make sure that it actually works, run, the feather of what we're trying to do is actually prove your concept before you worry about all the other factors that are going in. So kudos to you for doing things the calm, systemic, and proper way to handle this kind of stuff.
Yeah, obviously we like what you guys are doing, and we're following in those footsteps as well. So same to you. We're excited to see GIF token performing right now live, and that proof of concept for Pulsar. I think it's going to make people even more confident whenever you guys do launch that they know what they're getting into and how it's going to work. So super excited.
Great. Thanks, Helios, and thanks, Crypto Kool-Aid. The floor is open now. Please feel free to send an invite. I'll bring you up to join the discussion. So please feel free. We'd like to hear your voice. and your contribution, of course. So, yeah, the floor is open. I think in the meantime, I will sort of raise a matter that I just kind of read through. And this was in the our marketing Telegram group. So I think we probably just get a bit more, if we can, a bit more information there. I was trying to get, of course, the gist of it, but it seems that there's this project, it's a raffle project involving, of course, gambling or gaming and something to that effect. And I think there were discussions as to whether to list or whether it should be listed on TitanX Hub. I think the founder is anonymous, so that there was some discussion around that that was going on there. And I wondered, does anybody have any information background to that?
Well, there's two of them. So Pucky, I believe, is doing more of the gambling side. Dude would actually know the intricacies between them. And then there's another guy that's doing David, that's doing something similar but different. Dude, can you want to speak to the differences between those two?
I am not specifically sure how Punky's involved with Dave's raffle system. But my thoughts on like whether or not they should be listed on TitanX Hub, it's ultimately up to Mike. It's his website. He's running the show, and it's really up to him on who he wants to list and not list. And maybe if he wants to, open that up to the community to request and have things listed, that's up to him as well. But as far as like being anonymous, that you should just stand guard, like as long as he puts out smart contracts that don't have, owner functions where he can mint 1 billion tokens to himself or do any kind of rug pull activities, then I'm fine with somebody being anonymous, as long as the code should speak for itself. And that's a big part of what I've said is like, I don't want to be an idol for Helios. That's, like I want Helios to speak for itself. The code's open source, and any kind of knobs that can be turned are rug proof, but besides that, they can only be turned by the DAO. And so as we grow and the community grows, it becomes more and more decentralized. But as far as like what he's building, I think I still stand by like every project that's built on TitanX that uses the TitanX token is good for the community. Besides a rug, obviously. But even like a small project or even a failed project is going to bring in some TitanX. It's going to take some TitanX off the market. And that's a win for everybody else in the ecosystem. But as far as like the raffle in particular, I'm rooting for him. I've seen him around the community quite a bit. It doesn't seem like he seems genuine to me. That doesn't mean it's rug proof. Obviously, like that's where I stand. You have to understand the code. If you can't read the code, then maybe look to others that can, and wait for somebody that's respected in the community to confirm that it is a rug proof smart contract and it does as intended. And at that point, then, being anonymous shouldn't really be a factor to me on whether or not it should be, praised in the ecosystem.
And I can agree with that too. I mean, at the end of the day, I've tried to talk to pretty much everyone that's doing anything behind the scenes, just to get their temperament, figure out who they are, shoot shit, the normal type of stuff. But you really kind of get a sense of the spirit of the pose on who someone is when you get to talk to them more. And all those people seem like very, very genuine, good people. But again, at the end of the day, how quality is the code should always be the most important thing that you look at, because it's not, a situation based on politics or likability. It's how well does something execute? How thought out is it to pivot? Should it need to pivot based on the market conditions and what you're trying to do? And how all that works within the wherewithal of what they're trying to create.
Okay, thanks. Yes.
Yeah. So
Oh, Mike.
yeah, Maurice. So I'm just going to speak on regarding, let's say, listing something on TitanX Hub or not to list it. So the thing is, right, when I started TitanX Hub, right, I mean, I don't know, you guys, if you know it from the beginning, it was essentially a Google Sheet, because it was just too much. There was just like too many things going, and I just wanted to have it on one central place, right? So I made a Google Sheet and shared that. And then I saw, oh, actually people are viewing that Google Sheet. You know what? Let me just make a site for it. And that's how TitanX Hub got started. And in the beginning, I just listed everything. Oh, this new project is building. No worries. I just added straight away. And sometimes like the guys would send me a DM and I'll just list it. And then what happened? Well, some few people saw this as an opportunity. And a scammer came into the ecosystem, right? And I was directly very suspicious of this guy, right? And the suspicion was that he launched a project, and he was, and the thing is like, okay, it's gonna run only for like 2 days or something like that, right? So, until Saturday, and it's gonna mint, the mint is gonna finish in 2 days, right? So essentially he was saying like, oh, I've started this project and it's going to finish minting very soon, so you might as well just join now. And he texted me, and I was like, hey, he was very friendly and everything. And even one of the guys in the community who was very well known, here from, what's his name again? Forgot his name.
It's Rudy. You're thinking Rudy from Titan Legends?
Yeah, exactly. Rudy from Titan Legends even basically wrote to me and said like, hey, man, I talked to this guy and he seems very genuine. And I was still very suspicious about it, right? So I was like, oh, I don't know, man. It's like, he's not known in the community. He just came out of nowhere, essentially. He never contributed into the community in such a way that it was kind of visible. So I was like, man. And he's also anonymous on top of that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait. Like, I cannot, like, this is just too much uncertainty here. I'll rather just wait and then see what's going to happen. But then I was like, you know what? Rudy also told me like, hey, man, he seems like a genuine guy. Well, he talked to him. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just talk to him. So I sent him a DM and said like, you know what? Let's hop on a call. So we hopped on a call. No worries. Everything. I was talking to him. And essentially I told him like, hey, man, I can't list you. And these are the reasons. You are anonymous. You have not been in the community. Nobody's seen anything from you. It's just too much uncertainty for me to list it, because like I will not participate in this project myself. So like why would I want to list that as well? You know, so it's kind of a hard thing, right? How do you deal with it? So and essentially it's like, okay, I don't have much time to be looking at every project. So my essential thing was, if you're following the TitanX ethos, I will just list you per se. And what are the TitanX ethos? I mean, it's like, okay, you have a founder who is not like he's you can see his face, right? You have audits and it's fair launch. I mean, all the things, right? I mean, if you were in TitanX community, you know how TitanX launched and you know how things went, pretty much, right? So essentially, that's what I said. Is like, hey, if anything, if everybody's following these rules of how TitanX is launched, then I'm just going to list them straight away, no questions asked. If you deviate from that, I will have to just wait and see what's going to happen. It's like I cannot, like, because it's a gamble at that point, right? And the thing is, regarding listing something who is somebody who's anonymous, you never heard of him, you never heard his voice, and you never heard his like, I don't know, you haven't seen his face, let's say, right? I mean, obviously, do you have to have a face out there? Not really. If the code is straight on and it's audited and there's no admin keys, you can get away with that. But the question is regarding, let's say, that guy who came in and drugged. I don't know. I think he got away with like 12K or something like that, from what I've heard. I haven't really checked it, but this is what I heard. You know, one of the issues is, how do you know he is going to start a new project and start scamming another people? You see, but because that's the big problem, right? At least, let's say, if you have a voice, obviously nowadays with AI, maybe you can alter your voice, fair enough. But let's say if you have a voice, you have a face, and you rug, let's say. So let's say he followed all the TitanX ethos to the T, and still rugs. Fair enough. That's something can happen. You know what's the thing is? At least you cannot rug us again. You see, like, you can do that once and then that's it, because like you cannot come to the community again and do it again, right? But the thing is, like, if somebody is anonymous and there's no face and no voice, no nothing about it, right? He can just be launch another Twitter account, another Telegram, and start doing it again. And if somebody's very good in marketing, sure, that can happen quite a lot, let's say. So this is the things why I just very hesitant with all of these things, right? So that is pretty much where I stand at this moment. And essentially, TitanX ethos, if you follow that to the T, fair enough, I can just list you straight away. What can I do? It is what it is. This is the process I follow. And if you deviate from that, it's like I'll be very hesitant because now, like, I'm playing with fire. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, even if you look at Buck on the Pulse Chain side, yeah, you know his voice, but Dylan is technically his face because he doesn't, as founder, want to have his face shown, but you know his voice if you've listened to Buck for a while. I think holding those gumptions and pillars are very important, regardless on how we handle things. Not just code, but the narrative on who these people are, why are they here, how long have they been involved, and what's their intention. All of those I highly agree with.
Absolutely. I mean, because that's the thing is, and then regarding all that is like some of these projects or whatever is like they're writing me DMs and they're accusing me of like gatekeeping and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, buddy, yeah, sure. I mean, you can view it as gatekeeping, sure, but it's like, well, you'd want me to list also the rug, which you rugged as well, right? You see, that's the thing, because everybody who has a project, and if even if he's not like whatever, he doesn't want to rug and he's genuine about it. It's like, but I don't know, I cannot handle that. You know what I mean? That's the thing is like, how can I know? It's like all these other ethos, let's say TitanX has been following, is like, well, that's the thing, which is like there was a Telegram beforehand, people could ask questions. There was a white paper beforehand. Jake was known in the community and stuff like that. So I mean, could he rug as well? Absolutely, he could rug. But I mean, first of all, it's like, okay, essentially he cannot rug. But what I'm saying is, it's much harder to because if something just goes wrong, and if you're anonymous, you can just be like, you know what, this thing failed, and you go away and you just launch another project. It's like you delete your Twitter account and Telegram account, and then you're gone. And then it's like, yeah, whatever. I made some money and now I'm gone. And I don't know. It just feels, it doesn't feel so good in my ways. But anyhow, man, I'm rambling too much.
No, Mike, thank you. I mean, it's risk mitigation, and that's risk mitigation that I think the entire community appreciates. I think this is really a community effort. And so I think may this risk mitigation effort continue. It's not perfect. I don't think anything is, but I think the effort that has been put in has actually protected the community to a good extent. even in ways that we probably do not realize, that it wasn't a free-for-all in the beginning. And we know that TitanX started with a big bang and attracted a lot of attention. And that window was one that I think if the mechanism that, Mike, that you set up, if it wasn't there, I think it would have been a free-for-all. And the trust that has been built up within the community, you know, with respect to various community participants, was such that I think you really have you had and you still have a strong community that couldn't easily be penetrated, and in that sense, yes, the risk mitigation was there definitely and still is. Now, I think just to wrap up on this, unless anybody else has any thing else to add, and Mo, just after this, I want you to say your piece. But I think the fact that this discussion, the discussion about the raffle project was actually conducted in the marketing Telegram channel is pretty much not the right place. I think it got heated, it seems, and I think, as some of us are aware, we do have a potential marketing partner who's part of that Telegram channel, who actually brought this to my attention. And I said, you know, I was away. When I got back, of course, and I went back and I looked, so what was he on about? He said, what's going on? What's going on with TitanX? What's going on here? Now, it's good that we have this, we can have heated discussions. We can have, as long as, of course, we're civil. But I think we should have it within the right forum. We have a TitanX development or developers channel where we could go and have our discussions, and that would probably be an appropriate place to have a discussion like that. Now, again, I'm not trying to say that. Again, just to repeat this, I'm not saying we should hold back, as long as we're being civil with each other. And all I'm saying is I think we could choose the right TitanX channel to have the discussion, because it seems to me here it really wasn't that much. But of course, if you're from the outside looking in, and then it really looks as if there's a lot more to it. So I think hopefully with members of our community in the future, those who listen to this session, after it's concluded, we'll take that on board. I think I probably will make mention of this in a polite way in the marketing Telegram channel, just to say, these sort of discussions could occur elsewhere, and elsewhere by elsewhere. I mean, even in the TitanX main channel, or even, again, I would have thought that given that it was about builders having a chat and discussion about, about someone who was anonymous and unable to list. I think that probably could have occurred within the TitanX development channel, but I'm not going to overflog it. It's not nothing major in my view. And yeah, so on that note, I mean, Mo, and then Helios. Okay.
Hey, thanks, guys. There's so much to go over there. Plan A, Mike Dean, thanks, guys, for doing everything. I'm a little distracted by everything Helios said about their pulse chain moves and their arbitrage move. I'm super excited about that. That's really awesome. Mike, though, no one thinks you're gatekeeping. If any, anonymous project, wants to accuse you of gatekeeping, you can just turn the mirror right back around on themselves. And if they don't want to follow any of the protocols, then they're gatekeeping themselves. It's a moderate bar to entry into TitanX. It really is. A partially doxed is not a big deal. If someone doesn't want to do it, that's fine. You don't have to list them. That's fine. Like, no one's going to blame you not for listing them. I think we're all on board with everything you're doing. Everything you said made perfect sense. You definitely shielded the community from a lot of predators early on, and that was really awesome. And everything you did to do that, you're still doing, and everyone's on board with that. So whatever you're fine with listing, whatever you're not fine with listing, we're fine. That's cool. You're not the gatekeeper. The rules, the barrier to entry is the gatekeeper. So I just kind of want to give my 2 cents on that. And when it comes to Blaze, they definitely did a stream that I hopped on. It was really fun. I've done a couple of videos. We've been talking about them. They're pivoting like everybody else. They're trying to get as much value into the system as possible. It's really as simple as that. I think when everybody sees that if numbers of adoption goes up on Blaze, then that means more for TitanX in the long run anyway. So I still think they're definitely part of the system. And I'm a big supporter of that. Pulsar. I can't wait for where Pulsar is going to take us, and the whole Pulse chain side, and Helios hopping on, and the Omni chain. I'm psyched about all of it. But Mike, you're awesome. We appreciate everything you're doing. You're not a gatekeeper. The barrier to the entry of TitanX is the gatekeeper itself, not you. So don't worry about that. We appreciate you. We love you. Plan A, man, glad you're back. Love you. I mean, everyone did a great job while you were gone, but we still love you. We're still really, really glad you're back, man. And I get what you're saying about the chats. Definitely the marketing chat is not the place to have a shit show argument. Not that we can't argue, but we're literally trying to talk to a marketing team, not have our own internal debates. Like, there's plenty of places that we can argue and shout at each other and have those fun go-arounds. But yeah, I think you're right on board with that plan A. And yeah, I think I covered all the bases as quickly as possible. Talking super fast because I got to go. But I don't know. If there's anything I didn't hit, please let me know. But I appreciate you guys. I love you all. Yeah, still in it. Let's go.
Fantastic job, Mo. Fantastic
Thanks,
job.
Mo. Thank you so much. And of course, we love you too. Definitely for all that you've done and continue to do for the community. So thanks again. Helios.
Yeah, just real quick. I kind of want to second what everybody else is saying, that Mike Dean, he's not gatekeeping. It's his website, and it's for the community, but it's ultimately ran by him, and he's a valuable asset to the community, and I believe he's got a great heart, and he's going to do what's best for himself and for TitanX. So whatever he decides to do on that front, I'm fully backing it. My only suggestion would be to kind of be on the fence about, to maybe allow some of this, is just to have a second tab or another page that's the degen page, that has big red flashing banners saying nothing's vetted. These are non-doxed people, could be a scam, and allow listings there. And then as projects can prove themselves, then maybe over time, they can get moved over to the main front page and alongside all of the other vetted projects. I don't know, it's just a quick suggestion that I thought might be a good in between.
That's a fantastic idea. Sorry, I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I could definitely probably think about and implement. Yeah, I mean, so just regarding me running the site. So the thing is, right, I have limited time, right? Well, I have jobs. I have like everybody, I just have limited time, right? So the thing is, me looking at every project, that's not feasible. I cannot do that, right? So my thing was just very easy. At some point, I was like, okay, I need to come up with something which just is the easiest thing to do. And the easiest thing to do is as I said, is I'm I'm not the gatekeeper. The rules of TitanX is the gatekeeper. Like as Mo said, which is, yeah, he said it very beautiful, because that's the thing is, right? Hey, these are the rules how TitanX launched. If you just follow that, it's like I'll just list you straight away, because it's like every, like I don't care what project is building, right? Just follow those things. I just list you. Like I don't care what you build. Like I mean, essentially, sure, there are some projects which I'm going to participate in and some probably not, but that's not a thing for me to make for TitanX.com, right? It's like the things should just be listed there. Like whether I participate or not, it shouldn't matter at all, right? So regarding the DGen page, I think that could be definitely a good idea. I'll probably implement that as well, and we'll see about that.
Great. Thanks, Helios, and thanks, Mike. I think we've got Mask first, and then Utah. Mask, over to you. Utah, you can go. You can go ahead. And when Mask is, and Mask can go after you. I think he's probably not ready. Can you hear me, Utah?
I'm here.
Great. Okay. So, Mask, are you ready?
Yeah, what's up? What are we talking about? Talk to me.
Oh no. Okay, I thought it's okay. I mean, if you sort of put your hand up, so I thought no. When I say you put your hand up, you requested to come up, so I thought okay. I thought you had something to.
I'm just listening.
Oh, great. Okay. In that case, we can move on to Utah.
Hey guys, just wanted to give an update. You know, the team did a YouTube video, very informative with all the changes that we made. Yeah, we're running testnet, getting audits lined up. You know, our internal audits are happening on parts of the code right now. So that's where we're at. You know, it's a tricky balance, right, of getting the audits done, the timing of they can't audit it until the code is completely finished, but yet you have to have them lined up. So as soon as that, you know, everything's a go and testnet's fine, we can send it directly to auditors and then have another auditor lined up after that so that they can get right on it also, you know, so that we're not wasting time waiting on audit. So it's kind of a tricky balance, but I believe we're there and we're just chugging along.
So it's really, when you say sort of you're there, or you know the team is there, do you mean you're just waiting for the audits? That's it. And if, of course, any extra work needs to be done as per the audit, I guess you would. I think probably that's all that's outstanding, is it? I don't know if I'm clear enough in what I'm saying, but if the audit spots or picks up some matters that need to be worked on, I think that would be pretty much, that's the phase you're in. Is that correct? I'm not putting words in your mouth, by the way. I just wanted to better understand.
No, it's so we are running testnet right now.
Okay.
Taking notes of anything that we find as we're interacting with testnet. Internal audits are happening on parts of the code. No external audits have been started yet until we make sure everything's dialed in and great with testnet, and then the internal audit's done. But we have our auditors lined up. Like as soon as we're done on the development side and everything's a go, it's going straight to auditors, external. And after the first external audit's done, it's going straight to the second.
Right, that's clear. Thanks. Thanks a lot. That's a really good update there. Okay, so watch this space is really the watchword here.
I have
okay, so let's. Yeah.
There's a question from YouTube here. Is Dragons is asking, I understand that Pulsar will burn 4 times more TitanX than any other protocol. Can anyone confirm this?
Sorry, I was in a different menu. No, I think he's talking about the 4-to-1 ratio on how the minting process exists and the ratio of the coins actually exist. When you mint Pulsar, the ratios in between them. So I would just say go back and reread the white paper, or more easily just watch a couple of the hour-long videos that Gifford and I were on explaining this type of process. So yeah, I think you're looking at the 4-to-1 ratio of the minting process to which the ratio of Pulsar is created.
Great. Mike, is there a follow-up there, or
No, I think
are we okay to move on?
Well, I think it should be quite clear for him. I think, yeah, if you wanna check out the documentation from Pulsar, I think you can find the link on TitanX.com, and if I'm just gonna click on it right now, and yeah, it should take you straight there. So
Right,
to the
it's
white paper.
pulsar.win.
Yeah,
Right,
and
and at the end of the day, sometimes it's easier to watch someone explain it. And Gifford and I have gone, a couple different ways on how we've tried to showcase what we're actually building and why it actually will work in multiple different, sets of different examples. But yeah, I believe the person is just a little bit confused on what the minting ratio is, but also the bridged ratio and all the rest of that. And, reading the white paper is easy, hard numbers. But if you go through those couple different interviews that we had, you get a different way to explain it, that you hear our voices, you see us talk with our inflections, what our intentions are. Sometimes that's a little bit easier than reading, beautiful blocks of text, which are great. Crypto Derpin, who's sitting in the chat, built for the white paper. We also have the clean white paper if you don't like beautiful art. But yeah, different ways to digest the information.
Great. Thanks again, Crypto Kool-Aid. I think that's sort of detailed info there. So, yes. Does anybody else? Cheats 28. I hope I pronounced your name properly this time. I'm so sorry if I haven't. But over to you.
It's all good. It's not really my name anyway, so yeah, it's Chiz, and Chiz is an old friend of mine from Jamaica. So yeah, it's Jamaican vernacular. All right, so
you hear me now.
Yeah, right on. So a few things. I guess this is in the bucket of marketing. I'm just speaking from the perspective of some friends who I've been mining for, both Helios and TitanX and Hyper. And partially because I understand the ecosystem and I understand where we're going. But I would say 3 to 5 people who I'm close to are probably mirroring what's going on in the larger space in terms of a lack of faith and a lack of insight about this ecosystem. Specifically, I would say that post-hyper launch, there is, I would say, a plummeting of faith. Now, I get it. I understand why that is, but I think it's a real problem. And I also think that it's a symptom of this tension between decentralized development and not centralized, but some concerted, consistent messaging that's put out to the Twitter sphere, the YouTuber sphere. And I think it's really missing. Now, I've heard a few people talking about marketing, and I don't think it really needs to be complicated marketing. I actually think that what we need is a magnet, some sort of magnet that helps people, particularly people that are already invested, to to believe that there's some credibility to this ecosystem. And so I'm not saying that that we're not going to have price go up in Q3 or Q4 or Q1 or Q2 of 2020. I believe that, but what I think is, and I also understand why Jake doesn't want to market now. He's building. I get it. The problem is that when a whole ecosystem has a loss of faith, a lack of belief, I've spent a lot of time educating friends. They don't really care. And so right now we're confronting months probably of the same old story, which is wait for hyperdeflation, wait for what's coming next. And unfortunately, it falls into the promise coin dynamic that people, pardon the language, they're like, you're full of shit, right? And so anybody that's been in the space for a while understands that this is a long-term project. But right now, I like where we're going, where Pulsar and Blaze and Helios and other teams are continuing to build. I think it's a huge, upside for the potential. My real question for all of us is, what is the one consistent message that we really need to be sending out to people in this space? And if we think about not people on this call, but if you think about how many people, I don't know, there's probably 30 people on this call. Let's say that each of us has 5 to 10 to 20 people. The real question is, what's the unified message? And how do we overcome the lack of faith and lack of belief and this projection onto Jake that he's a scammer? Now, I've known him long enough to know that he's a builder. He's smart as fuck. And I'm willing to back him. But I'm not like the masses here. And that's why I'm looking to the the Pulsars of the world, the Blazes of the world, the Helioses of the world, and all of us to say, well, what's our message other than wait until hyper deflation happens? That's not good enough at this point, because what I see, even though, yes, people are going to be launching projects, if there's not faith, right, which is what happened with hyper, right? If you don't have faith and belief in the system, it's going to dump, and it's going to be compounding on itself. That's why even before Pulsar launches, before Blaze launches, I'm less concerned about when you guys are launching. I'm more concerned about, like, what's the vibe in the space? Anyway, enough said. Just want to put that out there.
No, and I don't disagree with you at all. I think phrasing is a very, very, very important. Coming from my storyteller background, narrative is exceptionally important in how you handle what you're trying to say and how other people understand what you're saying. I completely agree with you.
My 2 cents is there's timing, and we all agree that marketing TitanX right now is not the best timing. To me, the best thing that we can be doing is building. So down the road, when we are ready to start marketing, we can show a handful of projects, or more than a handful of projects that are live and running. And to me, that shows way more. Like, not just, like you're saying, not promise coin. Like, this is on the market. This is running, and it is doing what it's supposed to do. And as far as TitanX, the main message, I think, is information. If you look at just the chart, nobody's interested, but obviously that's not what we are all here excited about. We are excited about all the mechanics that are at play, and you can't see that on a chart. You can't see how Pulsar launching and sucking up, trillions of TitanX. You can't you have to explain that, and that's where the message is, I think, is that we are a community of builders, and every one of these builders that comes in to the community is a positive attribute for everybody. And I think that's the main message, really.
I would agree. And I think that, if we're not going to be marketing TitanX right now, if we're really marketing an ecosystem that is filled with smart, convicted builders, supported by, a few people, I think that's the message. And I think that if it's a unified one, people will get it. But right now, because we're living in this decentralized space, there's no centralized leader. It's a symptom of these decentralized systems that it's the beauty of them, but it's also leading to a depression in the space where, and it's a cycle of depression. And so I would just encourage us all to focus on that message, is that this is a community of builders. There's a reason why smart builders have been attracted to TitanX. It's not just that builders can make a living, but it's because builders understand the token economics. And so I do think that the marketing is really about builders. And I'm not putting it on the builders here. I'm really not. I'm not saying that the builders need to be marketing. It's more like all of us need to support the builders in creating a magnet where, and the narrative of belief and faith as a mirror of builders in the ecosystem. Now that's a stretch, I'll be honest. I mean, the people that I've been, mining for on behalf are like, man, Chiz. They don't call me Chiz, but they're like, yo, what did you do to me? What the fuck, right? And I think that's right now when you have a community saying, what the fuck? That's an indicator that all we need, as someone, my work is about culture transformation, culture shifts, and all we need is one thing. We go from what the fuck to, wait a second, we're replacing what the fuck is going on there with, look, this is, it's an ecosystem and it's replete, it's filled with builders. Anyway, enough said. I just think it's the critical ingredient over the next quarter. It's not like we can wait. And I know the builders are not waiting, but the market's like, what the fuck? Where is this going? And that's a problem. It's a real problem.
Yes. Cheers. I think I would like to ask, I think you clearly have given some thought to this. What would be your suggestion as to the direction of travel over this period where interest has waned? Definitely, we can see that in different ways or from different indicators. So, what would be your suggestion as to?
To keep it simple, what we look for when we're looking for a radical shift in an ecosystem or a community or a culture, what we're looking for is the one thing that is really bringing it down, the one big problem that if we addressed, everything else would be better. And in my opinion, it's this lack of understanding, this lack of faith, that's a symptom of decentralized marketing. It's a symptom of decentralized development. But I don't think this ecosystem has to suffer over the next 3. And so I would replace, now I'm not the marketing guy, but like Crypto Kool-Aid, who's a narrative guy, I've been listening to you, I get it. I like these narratives are the critical. So I would say, what's the one narrative? And I can tell you from my friends and family are like, what the fuck? So what we do is we go from what the fuck is going on, and we got to target that, and we replace it with something way more valuable, which is we get it, we understand why, but we're replacing it with one recurring message that everyone in this space and everyone who's a believer, including Jake, if Jake understood, for example, that this community, doesn't feel like we can afford another 3 or 4 months of what happened to Hyper, right? That was a travesty of a launch. Now, I'm not saying that it can't recover, but it's a travesty because what happened is it got launched and then basically it died. I'm not saying that it hasn't served its purpose, but for anybody that's mining, they're like, what the fuck? Now, I get it that there are future dates in June and in September or August or whatever where, but that's not enough. So I would say replace the what the fuck is going on with one recurring message that we hammer in over. And I don't think we need professional marketing people. I don't think we need to be investing. Now's not the time to be investing in professional marketing. Now is the time to be investing in messaging that addresses the one critical flaw of the ecosystem right now, which is a lack of faith.
Agreed. I think for any effective marketing, we definitely need the confidence of the community and even the broader community, broader crypto community in the project or in the entire ecosystem. Now, I think from what I get from you, from your contribution, is that we need a narrative, and I think I'm just struggling here, and I would really like that if anyone has the answer, please. Is there anything that we could add to the current narrative, or even do we need to jettison the current narrative and put a clearer narrative that is tied, because whatever narrative we go with, it has to be tied to reality. It has to be tied to facts, and we've got to make it. Yeah. Okay.
And what I would say is it's a narrative that mirrors Mike Dean's work. It's a narrative that mirrors almost every builder's attitude, which is we understand the token economics, we understand everything, but what we've got here is an opportunity. And here's why. And so extending Mike Dean's website, for example, into a narrative that aligns Helios, that aligns Blaze, that aligns Pulsar, that aligns even like my friends, for example, are like, what the fuck is going on with Hyper? Like, why is it? And honestly, there's nothing I can say. I've listened to what people talk about, but there's nothing I can say. So people like me need a simple narrative. Anyway, I've said enough. I appreciate everyone's listening.
So thank you. That's really, really valuable contribution. So please, no need to apologize at all. Mo, I think after you, and then you too.
Hello. Yeah, I was going to say about the narrative. So the Hex ecosystem is a bubble in itself. It's a very small community compared to the wider crypto. And the Titan ecosystem is a bubble within that bubble. So it's kind of a small group of people. And Jake understands the importance of the narrative. And he understands when he says things like stickiness and share your ROI. So he knows that. But for all of the people that got in early or early-ish, they've sent ETH and it's gone to Jake. And they've sent ETH to start miners. And their miners are down compared to the people who can come in after them to buy their miners, to buy their Titan cheaper than they mined it for into existence. So the people who in this very small bubble who've done the work, let's say, are down. They're not feeling good. So that's one problem as far as establishing a narrative. But the other one is the people on the outside looking in. What they see is this, quote, mastermind group and buy and burn, and that they don't have any control over. So they've seen that there are big gains to be made if you know what's going to happen with the buy and burn, but nobody does know. So that doesn't instill confidence in new people coming in. The thing I would do if I was Jake and I wanted to instill confidence and reverse sentiment is I would get on a live stream and I would say, I would put the ball in our court. I would say, guys, what would you like to see happen with the buy and burn? Because he can't take money out, he should drive that point home. All this can do is buy the TitanX. And maybe he should turn it up to full right now and completely exhaust the buy and burn. So it can go back to being a market decided thing where the buy and burn is, well, we find a floor faster. The quicker we burn through the money, the quicker we give people who want to dump an ability to dump, but it would also bring new people in. Or he could set it very low, very slow, and say, that's it, that's what the buy and burn is going to be now. So now that you know that, now the market can decide if they want to participate. So pick a number, renounce the keys, whatever he said he was going to do in the first place. All these things are just terrible for confidence, terrible for sentiment. The fact that people thought that the buy and burn was going to be immutable and it's not immutable, and people have made off like bandits. People just feel like they just don't feel good about that. But the faster that he can find the floor in the bull market, the better things are going to be, because obviously, like Chiz said, it's a timing thing. It's like, it's a great system. Everything could be so good, but the bull market is going to run away from you unless you find the floor as soon as possible, or just lock in the buy and burn at a certain percentage. But I think the most important thing for the psychology of investors is that Jake is sat there, not just when things are going up and things are going great, but even when things are terrible and going badly, and say, you know, I'm in the boat with you guys, and this is a community effort. And what would you like to see happen with the buy and burn? Or maybe, you know, something, injecting some LP with the ETH that he's got, something that gives confidence to people, and something that when you're an outsider looking in, you don't feel like you're flying blind. You don't feel like, oh, okay, so anything could happen at any time. The buy and burn could go up or down. And what if I'm locked into my miner while he decides to turn the buy and burn up? Because he knows when not to be locked into a miner, and the masterminds, they think, I mean, I don't know what happens in the mastermind group, but people on the outside think, oh, they all know what's going to happen, but we don't know what's going to happen. So it just makes people hesitant, and that's what I would do.
Excellent, excellent points. And as far as I am definitely aware, Jake listens to each of these sessions, and I think we will definitely have to bring to his attention somehow these contributions. Now, I think these are the sort of points and contributions from the community that I think can push us forward. And I'm sure that if we even open it up even further to the wider community, we'll get more valuable contributions that we could really start looking at seriously. Yuta, over to you. Thanks again, Mo.
Yeah, I mean, it's the tough reality of the situation, right? Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm in the mastermind, the Blaze team's in the mastermind, and I can tell you there is no special information. And I can tell you that as builders, we're going what the fuck at times, right? Because we're investing a lot of money to build these projects on TitanX. At the end of the day, the fact that we're continuing, that shows faith. Have we had to make adjustments? We absolutely had to make adjustments. What do you do, right? Because we don't, how can I say this? So part of the reason I stepped away from being a moderator in the main chat was because I didn't like the lack of information that was being conveyed. Changes were being made, community was getting mad, rightfully so with most of it. As moderators, we had no idea these changes were happening. Next thing you know, there's a change, the community's upset, and we're in there taking arrows, you know what I mean? Trying to calm everybody down and keep the faith, but yeah, we have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. So I look at it this way. We're gonna have to do this ourselves. Okay? Let Jake build, let him do what he's gonna do. All of these concerns that you guys have brought up have been conveyed to him. I can assure you that. What he does with them, that's up to Jake. But we're gonna have to do it as a community. We can't wait for Jake to save us. I know one thing about Jake, he's here to win. At the end of the day, this will be very successful. I have no doubt in my mind. Otherwise, we would have pulled the plug, right? But in the meantime, it's just gonna be us. You know, we're gonna have to keep building. We're gonna have to keep marketing our products. If we get support from the community on our products, and we show some returns and some green candles and some engagement and kickstart a little excitement, that's all we can do at this point, I believe. I mean, it's tough. It's tough for the community. It's tough for us. And, you know, things are tough. It's just the way it is. But long term, we believe in this. And trust me, my onboards are, they're saying what the fuck too, right? It's tough. I mean, there's no way around it. And I, you know, I love to hear the honest feedback from the community, and I do not disagree. This is the reality. This is what it is. This is how people feel, and rightfully so. You know, it's extremely tough right now, but if we can get behind these other projects and other builders and help each other out in this space and, you know, and support each other, that's the answer in my opinion. That's about all I have.
Thanks a lot, you know, the fact is, having these honest and difficult discussions are necessary. I mean, there's no way we would attain the heights that we hope to attain without facing reality and really staring reality in the face and having the difficult discussions. And so I think I'm really happy that we're having this discussion. And these are not discussions that we should be afraid to have at all. Revo?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, it was really interesting chat and just to kind of see what's going on online and how, you know, some in the community have boiled off slightly. You know, the excitement's gone, and now we're kind of in this kind of phase where the buy and burn is still chomping away, and I can kind of see the mechanics of it. I mean, in my opinion, it's quite clear that everything is going to plan, and it kind of makes me laugh because when the price goes down, I'm just like watching it. I'm just watching the supply that's coming in burn away, and I think at the moment it's standing at about 300 billion per day, and then people are still selling it off. I mean, personally, the ones that are burning it off, I would probably, or cashing it in or what have you, I would probably, and I have been doing, I've just been stashing mine away and just keeping hold of the TitanX. And I think this was something that Richie B mentioned right at the very start of the project. Just keep hold of it, you know, or Helios or any of the projects like DragonX, etc. So I just wanted to make a couple of points on the vision part of things. And I do think we probably do need to get it out there, like simple messages. And I'm
Hello, Revo, we can't hear you. I think you've rugged.
Right, I think I'm rugged. Can you hear me?
No, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, at what point did I break off? Did you get the first point about I think everything's going to plan?
Yes, we definitely got that point. Yeah.
Okay. So my next point was about the vision that was mentioned, and yeah, I do think that we've kind of run dry on things. I mean, I'm posting things, and various other people in the community are still posting things, but we're lacking. I would say a creative vision. Can you hear me? Has it gone off again?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, so the point is I'm trying to make is that we're lacking a bit of a creative vision. I mean, if you see some of those like new meme coins coming out, one of their big things is they've got like hundreds of different memes and, you know, with like little characters and this, that and the other. And I know we haven't got a character as such as with TitanX. We have got a lot of information, and I don't think people that are probably looking at it from a distance, or maybe newbies that are like buying meme coins, this probably would be something that would interest them in, and they could be the ones that are coming in and actually thinking, hold on a minute, there's a whole community here that have got miners coming out, you know, billions of TitanX coming out, and actually if they just came in with like $1,000 or something, they could actually bag a really good bag of TitanX, and that's probably going to be worth something at some point when obviously the big deflation happens in kind of like, you know, September, October, November. But we're not really conveying that. We're talking within our bubble. We all kind of understand the situation, but we're not really attracting new people into what's happening. Obviously, when green candles start arriving, that will obviously bring a load of people in. But I think maybe we need to like kind of get ahead of the game. I've not really got.
Revo, it's rugged again. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I was thinking memes and also short clip videos, like a well-produced short clip video of what TitanX is. Maybe the story so far, what the project is, and how this project could take off. I know not specifically talking about price, but talking about the potential of what is kind of happening to the deflationary aspect of it. I've not seen anything good as yet from any of the community on this particular aspect, and I think videos like a short 1 minute video or something like that to explain that whole process and where we are, where we've come from, where we are, and where we could be, is something that could kind of like, you know, we could share online and things like that. Now, I don't know if there's anybody in the community that could do anything like that, but that would be great. And finally, I just think, yeah, we're probably one project away from the price rocketing. I mean, if we had another project that came on board to assist the buy and burn that we've got in place at the moment, and it took off, then it's really quite the process, the mechanics of it start kicking in. But even without that, I think with a low price, and I think this is why Jake is just sitting back and kind of probably chuckling to himself, because the price is low.
Rugged again, Rigo.
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So finally, we've got a low price. Price goes lower, fine. ETH prices rise. That will be great as well. And supply will then burn away really, really quickly. So I don't really think we've got anything to worry about. But yeah, maybe a bit of good advertising would be great. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for the important point made. Helios, and then I think we will go to Crypto Elite. And Mole, I think you had a hand up. So Helios, Crypto Elite, and then we can go to Mole.
Yeah, there was a lot said there. I guess
And
main
sorry,
point.
dude, sorry to to interrupt. I don't usually do that at all. Now, given that we're getting quite a few contributors, and it's just a general point for all of us, I think let's try to keep our comments to about maybe 2 minutes or so. Okay, thank you. Over to you, dude.
Yeah, the buy and burn, TitanX's buy and burn. Obviously, there's great controversy over that, and I really don't want to get into it. My main point, and what kind of we've discussed about what's important about the narrative, is that that's not the only buy and burn. Helios is a buy and burn. Pulsar, Blaze, all of us, all these projects, we are bringing in TitanX. We are locking it up. We're burning it. We're doing all kinds of things, adding additional use cases. That's the point. That's really where the value is at. Because all of these projects, they together as a team add up to way more than what just that single buy and burn that Jake's running is doing. And that's really the narrative that we need to push home is all of these projects, they are buy and burns.
Great. Yeah, I think we definitely need to highlight all the build on TitanX protocols, and I think really we need to get to that point where we home in on this, even more, because TitanX had this whole. Well, the whole thing about TitanX was of course the payouts, the staking, and we know that is not currently the value proposition of TitanX, or at least TitanX is transitioning to a different value proposition, which is more of a store of value. Whichever side of the argument that one may be, I think we could sort of accept that TitanX is transitioning from where it was, say, 3 months ago, or from when it started. So, Helios, definitely, you're absolutely right. We need to start looking at the protocols built on TitanX, and we've got to really, I think, really lead with that. How we do that in a coordinated way, I think we can. Let's discuss that. Let's discuss that further in the few weeks to come. But we really do need to, pin this down and craft this narrative appropriately. Crypto Elite.
Hey guys, I didn't really have anything to say. I just wanted to say hi, and I wanted to vouch for Giffordware and Kool-Aid. They're doing a truly amazing job on their project Pulsar. So.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Mo?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so Crypto Kool-Aid was saying this from the very, very beginning about the buy and burn, and that it's not what you think it is. But the problem is that the outside psychology of the new investors and some of the people that are still in, they are trying to invest in ambiguity, trying to time the ambiguity of the buy and burn, and they can't know what it's going to do or when it's going to do it. But I think the best way to get people to understand that the buy and burn is nothing more than a slow bleed mechanic. It's like a slow fall mechanic. The most important thing is buy, sell. At the end of the day, all of the complex systems that we put on top of these things, it all comes down to buy and sell. And the quickest way for people to get over this weird psychological tie that they have to Jake's buy and burn is to turn it up to full, or to set it low and slow and renounce the keys. And that way people can put the buy and burn out of their mind and think to themselves, okay, I want to take a position in TitanX. I can start accumulating now off market, or I can start mining and I can think about these things, rather than praying that Jake is going to turn up the buy and burn one day and they can exit into those candles and things like this. So, and also just Jake being there as well. I think what Utah said, that Jake wants to win, I believe that. I don't not believe that for a second. But I think even in the blood, he needs to stand there and say, so this is what I'm going to do. And this will not hold the price up for you in any kind of way. This will actually hasten the flaw that we're going to find. This is going to cause blood. But he needs to put the ball in our court and say, what do you want to see to happen with the buy and burn? Because it's not like he gets any benefit from the buy and burn. He can't extract any money from the buy and burn. But we'll go, Revo, come up and tell me what you're thinking, because you give me all these thumbs down.
I'm putting my thumbs down because I actually think he was the one that created this project, and I think he knows what the plan is going to be. But he's already said in the many videos that he said he's not going to give people a heads up about what he's going to do, because otherwise people are going to front run it. So I see at the moment. I mean, I know what you're saying about the buy and burn, but I think the buy and burn's just been set. It's just ticking along nicely. 3.3. 3.33 every 280. It's not taking too much off. It's just perfectly balanced at the moment. And I think we all want it to kind of. Well, not we. I don't. But it'd be nice. Obviously, green candles now straight away. Get it out in the market. But I think that's not the. I think it's got to be a slow burner, and we've got to see this through. Obviously, there's other projects building. There's other projects already built. And there's more coming on, and I think the process is timing it for the bull run as well. So if you do these things too soon,
we're in the bull run though. This is the thing. So we've been in the bull run for quite a long time.
No, we're not. We're not in the bull run. I mean, historically, we aren't in the bull run.
Bitcoin has reclaimed its all-time high. Altcoins, there's like $1 billion market cap meme coins going off everywhere. This is the bull run.
Look, it's not the bull run. It's not alt season yet.
Okay.
Well, it isn't. It isn't. Historically, you look at it. What happens is
we've only just lost Bitcoin dominance.
It happens at the end of the cycle.
Recently, so we're in
Bitcoin dominance. It's 52%. Yeah.
Now
52%, something like that. Okay, it's got to come a lot lower than that for the money to start spilling out of Bitcoin into alts. Yeah, that's not happened yet. Retail is still not coming in, so we're still really, really early.
He's kind of right.
But the thing is, you can almost throw a dart at a project and not see minus 99% in the market conditions that we're in. This is a very unique. I mean, find me a chart like this. The thing about what you said about the 3.3 buy and burn anyway, whatever, that's ticking along nicely, that's fine. But it's about market sentiment. It's about the psychology of the investors that you're trying to reach. And if you renounce the keys, if you, whatever the thing is with the buy and burn, that will instill a lot of confidence in people, and they won't be flying blind. And that's what people need. Like, that's what they want. And as far as saying that you think everything's going to plan and Jake's laughing to himself, things have not gone to plan, because you can go and clip probably 20 things that he planned and said was going to happen that have gone the complete opposite way. He didn't want it to be like Zen. He launched it in a way that he wanted an up-only chart. That didn't happen. It's just lots of things have not gone to plan. So I think he's in the same boat as us. I think Jake is game planning and brainstorming, thinking, what can we do? And then this is what the point of this discussion is trying to brainstorm with him. And that's just my point. I'm just brainstorming on what would be good for market participants from the outside looking in, and what would be good for the people who got in early and aren't really sure about, do I want to market to my friends? Do I want to spread the word on this, or am I confident? And I think locking the buy and burn, or turning it up, or just putting it over to us would give great confidence.
Sorry, I think there's a lot of interference. I think, Rivo, you probably need to put your mic on mute while Mole is speaking, and vice versa, in order to, okay. Mole, have you finished?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay, good. Before we go to Nearly Insane, I must say we had two community members who were waiting. I think it was Cleo and Eric. And I must say apologies to both, because I did try to sort of accept their request, but I think it seems I wasn't able to. It just wasn't accepted. I think we've got just to let them know, so we're just simply we're not screening out people from contributing is the point that I'm making. Okay, Nearly Insane, please, over to you.
You can put me down if Eric wants to speak. You can take me off speaker.
No, I think Eric is pretty much. I think he's no longer. Well, I think he probably will come back up again. When he comes back up, then we could. I think probably Mike. If somebody else, Mike could probably accept. If someone else comes up or requests. Well, okay, let's move on. Nearly Insane.
Thank you. Look, I like anybody else, I'd love to see green candles and profits in my portfolio, but I don't really understand why we think that any sort of marketing project at this point in time, when we're in such a, if I got it correct, an inflationary period of time for TitanX, and in a very, very difficult market right now, would really be effective. It seems to me that we have to just quietly play this out until it goes deflationary, at which point the bull market should be in a better position. And you have the fact that the liquid supply would start coming down as the real marketing issue. If we try to do marketing now, you're just pushing against very, very difficult headwinds and probably wasting your time and wasting your money. This is a great accumulation time for people that understand the protocols and all the projects that are built on top of it. And once we get later in the year, it would be a very good time to really do marketing. I know psychologically it's difficult to deal with right now because we all want to see profits, but the TitanX is built to be a longer term project. It's not a meme coin that, pump and dump. That's my point.
Thanks a lot, Nearly. That's definitely equally a really good point. The good thing is that we can, of course, diverse opinions, and there's merit in each of them. Helios, dude, over to you.
Yeah, we can kind of flip that narrative where, not that TitanX is falling in price, but we can just, talk about how it's your entry into these build on TitanX protocols is getting cheaper. Like when you go to mint some Pulsar, or when you go to mine Helios, it's costing you less in USD. And now is the time to be marketing, to go play in all of these build on TitanX protocols and push that narrative forward. And then the narrative for TitanX itself is, it is the long-term play. And with all of us continuing to build on top of it, the pieces will fall into place over time. And so that's really what we need to be looking at.
Thanks, Helios. Thanks a lot on that. Desk, over to you. I would like to say, Eric, I saw your request earlier. Going to bring you up. If you still want to say something, please do send a request. I have sent you an invite, by the way, to speak. But if you haven't received it, feel free to send a request, and I'll bring you up. Okay, Desk, over to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is just to talk, to add in support to the previous person who said not to use the buy and burn right now aggressively. I totally support him. If you use, because we are still very in the high inflationary period. If you use buy and burn right now, we're gonna run out of funds to buy and burn, and inflation is still high. People are going to sell so much into that. So it's not productive. We just have to stop the short-term thinking. Let's get deep into the inflation. Let's see, at least let's get to if you look at the chart, is it like August or whatever, September, whatever, there's where we have like very long, token that is going to be coming up in a day. So, but yeah, it wouldn't be productive, in my opinion, to accelerate the buy and burn. To me, personally, I'm actually happier that buy and burn is being controlled. It's being controlled, and if you leave it there to the people, like, okay, put it in the contract, set it and forget it, TitanX may be done by now. It may as well be done by now, honestly. People will take good advantage of that, and they will see, it may be done, but people are still hopeful, are still in TitanX because that buy and burn amount is preserved. It's still there. We see it. So let the market take care of itself. And like the other guy said, we are not fully in bull market yet. It's going to be used much later. All we need to do is be patient. Be patient. We will get there. And marketing, it's kind of 50-50 both ways. Doing marketing now, I don't know how much it's going to help us because we're not going to be going upside in terms of the charts. There's not going to be green in terms of the chart. I don't know if it's going to yield anything positive. So if we do the marketing around the time that we know that inflation has slowed down significantly and the buy and burn is stepped up a little bit more, it will be more powerful. That's just mine. Let's be patient and let this inflation period fly by. And then Jake has good plans for all of us. He wants everyone that is in his protocol to win. So that's just me. I don't I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. Even if it's in negative like it is, I'm just chilling because when it's time for what is it? Bull market for everything else. We will be fine. Please, guys, let's chill. We will be fine. And that's just all I have to say. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Desk. I think again, we've got a very balanced, set of opinions and views here. So must say again, thank you. I think I saw Eric get up here. I don't know where he's gone. Eric, yep. Over to you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
All right. So I just wanted to say that I don't think that you guys should be making marketing efforts. It doesn't really make a lot of sense in this time period. Like the other gentleman was saying, this is, the hyperinflationary time period. And I mean, honestly, I would wish that Jake would not use any of the ETH, that he would not, that he would make it minimal and save all the ETH to then buy back the largest amounts and burn the largest amounts of this. I mean, I see all the builders. I stop into these, hearings every week. You guys are doing amazing work. And, it kind of breaks my heart. I mean, to see you guys working so hard and, not getting anything necessarily back in return because you guys are putting blood, sweat, and tears. And it's very difficult, with the price chart as it is. Most people don't obviously understand, the mechanics, long term. But I just wanted to commend all the builders. I wanted to say that you guys are doing an excellent job. And that's basically just my 2 cents that I wanted to put in.
Thanks a lot, Eric. I think the thing is, the fact that we're here week in, week out, and in most cases, these sessions go on for at least 2 hours, 2 hours plus, shows the level of interest that we have within our community, and of course the belief that we have in what TitanX could become. And I don't think that the fundamentals have changed at all. Yes, we had in the short life actually of TitanX, and we sort of tend to forget, it's really not that old a project. It's 6 months old. 1 year, it'll be 1 year old in October, end of October. So I think when we feel discouraged, I think we can just remind ourselves, of course, of that. That said, we can't carry on we can't ignore the fact that we need to keep and maintain interest in the protocol. So we can't sort of switch off the lights and go to bed. We've got to make sure that we keep it. We keep building protocols on TitanX. We keep at community building. We keep at marketing, and understand that in the natural cycle of the market, that there are times where, it could be very discouraging from a price perspective. But if we stick with it and we believe in the fundamentals, the best chance. Of course, there are no guarantees, and I'm sure that we all know this. But I think, as Chiz was saying, I think we can't go the next 3-4 months and not keep the activity and a consistent narrative that isn't just backward looking, because we know exactly what occurred the last 3-6 months. It can't just be on the present. It's also going to be forward looking. And so I think we all need to just, understand better the narrative, and that the narrative is tied to fundamentals. These are not just, there's a narrative in the sky that's not tied to anything. So I would say the views that have been expressed here today encourages me in a big way. And I'm sure that Jake would be taking on board things that have been said today. Ultimately, it would be, of course, his decision on the buy and burn. I tend to take the view that we really should conserve the buy and burn until maybe fourth quarter, first quarter next year. I know that will be a lot of pain for a lot of sort of community members who would like to see the buy and burn used quicker. But I think if we defer a bit, the price of ETH is likely to increase as Bitcoin post halving will definitely be leaping ahead in price, going by the history of Bitcoin. And so what we have today, if conserved, will probably be twice the amount that we have currently sitting in the buy and burn pools. So I think that probably let the market continue to do what it is doing. And the market has taken over, to the point of a point that Mo made. And I definitely understand the point that you've made. The fact is that the market has taken over as it is. And so, the buy and burn pool in time will be a gift to the community, I'll say. So that's it. Let's continue to brainstorm. I'm sure there are points that have been made here that definitely have to be taken on board, particularly Chiz's point on the narrative point. I think and I'm going to close with this because I think so that we can allow others to of course contribute and talk. Bear with me. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
you're good. Oh, good. Okay, so I think that the point is there's still everything to play for. And I know I've made this point previously. We had DragonX that came in, and I know that DragonX came in and we had this was a contract that took quite a significant chunk of, the payouts. And I know that affected the narrative that we originally had. But if we look at the entire ecosystem and look at TitanX as an entire ecosystem, the payout mechanism still exists within the ecosystem. Helios is one that I would hope that we could look at closely as time goes on. That whatever it is that we had in the first 3 months or 4 months of TitanX, in terms of the payouts and staking, still exists within the ecosystem, the TitanX ecosystem, and that's Helios. Now, with DragonX, there are, of course, points that have been made and contributions that DragonX would make to the ecosystem. That's yet to be seen, but we can definitely see that the firepower is there for DragonX to make the contributions that it's claimed it can make to the ecosystem. Now, I'm just putting it out there, for instance, for protocols like Helios and others to come, if they're able to burn a lot of TitanX just on their own account without any help at all, I would say, I think if the community were to say to Jake, listen, there's certain protocols that off their own back, without any help, have contributed significantly to the burning of TitanX. And coming up to October payout, the first anniversary of TitanX, we still have 7 million there, as we discussed earlier. Now, I don't see why the protocols that have contributed can't get an allocation from the Genesis wallet in the same way that DragonX did. Now, I'm just putting it out there, but these are just ideas, and this probably could form part of the cocktail of ideas that could probably bring that excitement back, can level the playing field, can make sure that, things that, saying the quiet part out loud is always important in my view. And this is why I've enjoyed this session quite a bit. So, but there are things that could be done in the next 6 months, okay, that can get us there. So, Mo, over to you. I see you have something to say. Yeah.
Well, the final thing I'll say on the buy and burn and why I want people to try and look past it or put it out their minds.
Mo, sorry about that, if I may say. Mike, can you accept? Can you accept Chizzy as well? I just can't get him in. If you can.
Unfortunately, I cannot see her, so I don't see any request here on my end.
Oh, okay. I think it's probably done. Okay. Can you see it now? Mo, just bear with me. Sorry.
Not at all. It seems to be some issues.
Not a problem. Is there anyone, Musk? Would you mind if I kind of drop you down for now? And if you have anything to say, I'll bring you up, and I'll just bring up Chizzy, if that's okay. Okay. Good. Okay, Mo, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say the last thing I was going to say about the buy and burn and why I wanted people to put it out their minds or have it low and slow or whatever, is that the most important thing is always network effect and reaching new buyers. And this injection of ETH that we are all excited about, close to the end, Richard Hart has injected tens of millions of dollars of value into his own ecosystem, and it's been sold straight back down. And if we don't focus on network effect and new buyers and a vision for the future, it's just going to be a very small bubble of people like us in here who are still believers, kind of selling into the buy and burn when that does happen, and basically going through each other's throats over this bag of money that is really inconsequential when you think about the amount of buy pressure that really comes from network effect and new people coming in. And that's why I think that's the most important thing. And that's why I kind of want to find the floor as fast as possible, or turn it off, or exhaust it, or just put it low and slow so people can focus more on that as being the most important thing than kind of resting on our laurels and waiting for this injection of ETH that we don't really know what's going to happen with that anyway. So that's the last thing I'd say on it.
Thanks, Mo. You definitely still have a point, definitely. I mean, when I say you still have, there's definitely a point that needs to be explored. There's something that really does need to be explored there to find the right balance, definitely. Chiz, over to you. And after you, we'll start rounding. We'll start rounding up. So, yeah, over to you.
So the disagreement about what Jake should do about the buy and burn is really healthy. It's an indicator of a change needing to happen. Anytime there's a friction in a community like this, it's saying change, change, change. Now, let's assume, I'm assuming for a second, Jake has his game plan. I'm not asking Jake to change his strategy with buy and burn. I trust him, I believe it. And at the same time, if we listen to Utah Crypto, who's representing not Titan Blaze, but Blaze, that decision to pivot, but I totally get it. I get why Blaze doesn't want to immediately identify with TitanX, that we need to invest ETH to get into that protocol. That makes a lot of sense to me. But if we don't address the malaise of builders, and Helios is a good example of what was happening early on. I was in the DAO. I was in that conversation that Dude led, and the question was put out to the DAO, what do we do? And initially, there was a DAO decision to increase the buy and burn, I suspect because a lot of people were like, we need to do something about the psyche of the market. And I think what Helios has done is a good template for what Build on TitanX projects probably need to be doing. If we say that what we're really trying to encourage here is builders to thrive and survive. When I hear Blaze, or when I see Blaze make a quiet pivot away from TitanX, I'm like, why? Right? It's sort of, and I like what Blaze has done to put it out there, why they're doing it, what they're hoping to accomplish. But when you've got builders expressing what the fuck, that's a big problem. And so what Jake has done is he set up a mechanism that makes a lot of sense for those of us who understand. Everyone who understands the mechanics are individual investors and are accumulating now. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the psyche of the larger crypto community, which right now is like, what the fuck is going on with TitanX? So all I'm saying is that let's assume that we're not going to influence TitanX buy and burn. I suspect it's a good thing, what's happening right now. But if we really listen to the builders, the Build on TitanX ecosystem, like, I heard DragonX, I heard Eric, who I really respect. I like Eric a lot. And he's sort of gauging community interest on Twitter. Like, what should we build next? And we've got Titan Farms, but we're only going to be launching it when there's volume. Those are the small indicators that tell me, as someone who's really listening, oh boy, we've got a problem here. And it has nothing to do with the TitanX buy and burn. What it has to do is faith in the protocols that are building on top of TitanX, which is really what Jake has told us all. This part of, before we get to hyper deflation, we're going to be talking about how do we invest and support builders. And I think that's priority number one. And so if it were me, I would do a circle, a round table, And I agree, forget the marketing now. It's messaging, it's narrative. Like, what does the roundtable of builders say? For example, what is Pulsar really thinking? Like, why is it that Pulsar is being so methodical? Why is it? Like, what is the narrative? What are we meant to believe about how Pulsar and how Blaze and how what Helios is building next is going to build an ecosystem? And right now, that messaging is really, really weak. And it's not that individual projects aren't trying. You guys are all trying. You're all killing it. I think it's a problem when builders are feeling, oh, fuck, what the fuck, right? Anyway, so I think it really is about convening around the builders, listening to the builders, and then all of us backing what you all need to be successful. Helios, look, my onboards are good with Helios. Why? Because they see that it's still alive. They see that something's happening. There's something going on. Like right now, I mean, honestly, and this is no disrespect to Jake. It has nothing to do with Jake. On the other hand, like the hyper vacuum is unacceptable in my mind as a investor. There's a vacuum of intelligence of like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where are we going with this? And it's not okay to say, oh, in June, we've got some vortex and then we've got a vortex. I'm like, yeah, what's the vision? Where are we going with this? So let's move away from trying to convince Jake. He's not changing, and I respect that. I don't want him to change, but we're going to have to all change one thing at least to support builders so that they don't lose faith, because when builders lose faith and start quietly pivoting, the market loses faith and pivots away from belief in TitanX. Enough said. Thanks so much.
Thanks again. I think that's been said in a very clear and articulate way. I hope that the message registers. We definitely need to keep our builders on board and understand what they need and what their pressure points are. So thanks again. I think on that note, I think we can start rounding up. So I will invite final comments. Mike?
Yeah. So this was quite a long one. It seems like you're back. There's definitely more people listening in, so this is great. Plan A. Yeah, I mean, I guess like I don't have like much thought for now. I think I heard all of the points you guys have made, and I think they're all valid points. And yeah, I guess we just have to go through the storm, it seems for me, and then we'll see what the future will bring. There's definitely more projects Jake is building X28. So we're gonna see all this is happening, and also other projects are building, like we got Helios as well. So I'm looking forward to all the projects which are building, and I'll try to update you as good as I can, and we'll see how things go. That's pretty much it from my side for today. I'm pretty tired already, so yeah, I'll give it to you.
Thanks, Mike. Crypto Kool-Aid? Final thoughts and comments, if any?
I mean, I think the entire conversation is great. I think having a good narrative and having a good conversation is paramount, actually. If you ever come into our Telegram channel, I welcome a good, warranted conversation to actually learn, discuss, and put the best foot forward in both understanding and execution. On our stuff, go to pulsar.win, come into our Telegram chat, definitely know what's going on with Gift Tech, and while we are, as someone said earlier, methodically moving through our steps, it's very fascinating in real time, and love to have you guys on. Sorry I don't pop usually in on Sundays, but usually it is my day off sleep day, so I'm glad I could be here today.
And thanks, Crypto Kool-Aid, for attending and your contributions. Helios? your final comments.
Yeah, I like kind of second crypto Kool-Aid. They do welcome open discourse and everything that we're talking about and all the what the fucks and all that. Like, we welcome those in our chat as well over at Helios. The only thing we're banning are trolls. You know, and if you have something negative to say, but in a positive manner or it's positive criticism, we're all ears. So yeah, with that being said, I really did enjoy this. I think, again, I want to hammer home that, like, for every decision Jake makes on the buy and burn, somebody's going to be happy and somebody else is going to be not happy. So to me, like, there's really no reason to sit here and debate back and forth on what that is. All we need to know is that it can only do one thing, and that's buy and burn TitanX. The timing of it can vary, but at the end of the day, it's going to do what it's going to do. And for me over at Helios, like, I'm sitting comfy because I know we are building and we are expanding, and really TitanX, their performance in the short term, medium term, long term, it doesn't really matter. We are still building additional use cases to all that. And as we grow, we will help attack Titan, you know, and that's really what we need to hammer home on the narrative is the build on TitanX protocols. That's what really counts. So thanks for having me on here. I look forward to it every week. And please just join our Telegram as well, get involved. We have tons of community discussions, and Helios is ran by the community. So if you guys want to get involved, you know where to find us. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, dude. As always. Utah, can I trouble you to just to clarify? I think a point was made here, and probably just to avoid the confusion here, you haven't left the TitanX ecosystem, have you? And so I think when it was said earlier that sort of you probably pivoted away, I think it was put somehow, and I hope I'm not misquoting the person, but I would like you just to clarify that, and so that we're all on the same page and there's no confusion.
So to clarify the question, are you talking about the protocol or me personally?
No, not you, but I mean the protocol itself. I mean the fact that you're still going to be burning TitanX even with the pivot. Can you explain what that pivot is and how it still ties in with TitanX?
Yes, we are, and our main liquidity is going to be paired with TitanX still. So, and then the way the tokenomics work, we're still going to be buying TitanX off market and burning it. So, but it will be Ethereum to enter the options.
Yeah, that's clear. Thanks. And any final comments before we?
Just want to say thank you to you and Mike and the community and all the other builders, and hang in there, guys. We're gonna make it. Things are gonna work out. It's hard for the new people and on boards and that to really grasp it. But I explain to my onboards and other people, okay, this is the path forward. This is what we're doing. My personal opinion, Jake wants this price low right now. Pure speculation on my part, but it doesn't seem like he's doing too much to prevent that. So, but if we're not looking at the immediate future and we're kind of looking a little bit down the road, I think we're all going to be very happy that we stayed here. And I think we're all going to be very happy if we're able to increase our positions at these prices. I haven't sold any of my TitanX and I don't plan on it. Like I said, Jake's here to win. The way he goes about doing that, Only Jake knows that. But at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. I believe that. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, you too. And Chiz, thanks for your invaluable contributions. I think we've had a really good discussion today. Thanks to everyone who participated. Revo, Desk, thank you. And we'll do this again next week. In the meantime, I'll say have a great week ahead. And thanks everyone. Thanks again. Take care.